guys, me Dixie Kane. Listen, oh no, not a VSG. I had that 8 years ago on October 6th of 2014. But I had a conversion to a gastric bypass done on August 2nd of 2021. I had a request for an update on how I'm doing. Guys, I am doing so much better. I had such a very rough time. Guys, I just want to say one thing. If you're getting ready for any kind of weight loss surgery, I don't care which one it is. If you've had surgeries in the past and you think that you're going to be exempt from complications, think again. I went into my VSG surgery 8 years ago with the mindset of I was so scared and didn't know what to expect from the surgery. And I was so afraid of complications and everything. And then when I came out of surgery and I was feeling really good and I felt like I didn't even have surgery, like I let it go to my head, guys. And so when I went into this surgery back on August 2nd of 2021 for my gastric bypass, I went in with the mindset of nothing's going to go wrong. Okay? It was a dream I breezed right through it with the sleeve. So why wouldn't I with the gastric bypass, right? Wrong. Don't think that way, guys, ever. On any surgery, don't ever think that way. Be afraid of every surgery you have, because it may be your last one. I went into this surgery thinking I'm going to come out. I'm going to feel so good, and I'm going to get out of that bed and I'm going to walk those halls and I'm going to drink my water. And here's what really happened. I went in for the surgery. I had the gastric bypass surgery done on August 2nd of 2021. So 3 months. This is October 30th, okay? My surgery was on August 2nd. So I'm going into my 3rd month, okay? But it was the hardest 3 months of my whole entire life. The hardest and the scariest 3 months of my whole life. I went in and I had lost quite a bit of weight, just like I did with my VSG surgery. I started my surgery out at my heaviest was 200 for this surgery was 261 pounds. Okay, and then I did my 3-month pre-op diet, and I got down to 228 pounds the day before I had surgery. The day of surgery, I lost another pound that night. So the day of surgery, I weighed in at 227 pounds. Shortly after, okay, so I went in and I had my surgery, and I came out, and I remember my daughter and my husband standing over me saying something about, Mom, you're gonna be okay, but you had complications. Because I kept telling them I hurt so bad. I was just crying. I was in so much pain. And they said, Mom, that's because you had complications. You had complications during surgery. It was a 3-hour surgery. Should have only been 2. we were getting worried about you, and they finally came out to give us an update, and they told us that you had a bleed, that you either had a vein that bled or something. But they were in there cutting adhesions away from my diaphragm, because adhesions from past surgeries were like growing like wildfire all over inside my gut. And so they had to cut them away from my diaphragm so they could get to my hernia to fix my hernia. And somewhere between there, I developed a vein bleed or something. Now, they said it was a vein bleed. But it filled up. It was bleeding so hard, it filled up. Leave something to always go wrong, you guys, with every video I make. And I'm not going to edit that out because I'm just not. Camera, if you do it again, I'm going to smack you. Okay, so, yeah. So I developed a vein bleed somewhere in there. So it was filling up my whole cavity with blood so fast he was debating whether to go in and just fully open me up, and he was just this close to opening me fully up when one of the techs found where it was bleeding and stuck a dissolvable sponge up against it to stop the bleeding long enough for them to take care of it. But by the time they wanted to pull it away, it had already formed blood clot all the way around the sponge where it was up against it. So they cut a small section of that sponge away and left that little bit of sponge inside me. Because what would happen if they would have pulled it away? It would have pulled... Sorry, guys, I've got the hiccups. So bear with me. Hardly ever get the hiccups, so I don't know where this is coming from. But this is my third time making this video, so that's probably all the air from talking. I don't know. But anyway. So yeah. So they were getting ready to fully open me up, and he found it, and they cut it away, and it had a nice sized blood clot there, but they decided to just leave it. And he left orders with the nurses that I was not to get out of bed for 2 days. So for 2 whole days, I wasn't allowed to get out of bed. So my bed had a bed alarm on it. I couldn't even so much as put my foot off the edge of the bed like I would at home. I would, if I get hot at night, I will hang my foot off the edge of the bed to let my leg cool off. Couldn't do it. Because every time I did, I would set the bed alarm off, and they would come flying in. They were like, "You're not supposed to be out of bed." Well, I'm not out of bed. I don't understand, you know. But yeah, so I was on a bed alarm. I wasn't allowed to even get out of the bed to go to the bathroom. And on the second day, they finally got me out of the bed because I still have not had the urge to go to the bathroom, urinate, or a number 2. So they kept asking me. I kept telling them, I don't feel full. And he said, you should be full by now. With all these fluids going through you, you should be full by now. And I was like, I don't feel like I can go. But I said, I can try. And so they brought in a bedpan at first, and I sat on that bedpan for over an hour. They forgot all about me being on it. And I developed a sore on my backside from laying down on a bedpan. Not sitting up, laying down with a bedpan under my bottom. And so I couldn't go, and then they brought in a machine to scan my bladder, and they said, oh my gosh, you've got over 1,000 cc's in there. You've got to have the urge to go. You're way beyond where you should be. And I was like, no, I don't feel anything. And she was like, I'll be right back. I'm going to calf you. I'm going to have to straight calf you. You're going to get an infection if we don't. So she calfed me, and then they brought me in some stool softeners, And I never did ever go the whole time I was in. And I didn't have my first bowel movement till I was about 2.5 to 3 weeks out from surgery. Is when I finally had my first bowel movement. And it took them to catheterize me twice before my bladder would even start to allow me to just even drip. So I went home with not being able to go to the bathroom either way. And then I was sent back to the hospital. I wasn't even out of the hospital 4 days when I was sent back to the hospital with all of a sudden this horrible chest pain, pain under my rib. I'm showing you my right rib, but it was actually my left, okay? But up under the rib. And this horrific pain coming from one of my incisions under my rib. And it felt like they broke my rib, you guys. I literally couldn't even take in the smallest of breath. I couldn't talk. I could hardly talk, and you can hear that in my voice when you see some of my other videos. I couldn't even hardly even talk. In that video, you'll see me ever so slightly shaking, like this uncontrollable shake. I couldn't walk because my legs were like rubber bands. I couldn't use my arms because my arms would shake. My whole body would shake. And it was just like I was totally wiped out, like sleeping all the time, in between crying all the time from the pain. But during that second hospital stay, not even 4 days after my surgery, or after I was released from the hospital from my surgery, I was right back in. And then that's when they found that I had multiple blood clots in both lungs. So I am on a blood thinner called Eliquis. So I'm on this blood thinner. November, I will be done with the blood thinner. I have to go back and have my lungs scanned to make sure the clots are not there. If they're there, I got to do another 3 months of Eliquis. That Eliquis is not cheap. Even with my Medicare, that still cost me out of my own pocket $47 for a month's supply of Eliquis. So also, okay, so they found the blood clots. They said I was looking dehydrated. I still wasn't getting adequate fluid in. And they were threatened to put me on tube feedings. So I tried to force myself to start getting in my fluids. I came home and I developed an infection in my bladder. I still was not urinating on my own very well. And so I started to develop an infection. So I went and saw my normal doctor. And he was not in, so I saw one of his partners. She said, I called him and I told him I saw blood in my urine. I could see it, I could smell it. And so she told me to come in and she would look me over and she put me on an antibiotic. Well, the antibiotic decided it was not going to work for me. And so now I'm back in the hospital again for my third time in my third week. And this time I'm dehydrated big time because the antibiotic they put me on completely took away. I was already struggling with wanting to eat and drink. But it completely fully wiped out the urge to want to eat and drink. So I went 3 days without hardly drinking a drop and not even taking in any kind of like soups or anything. And my pain in my left side grew even greater. And I was becoming weaker. And I was sitting in the chair next to my husband out in the living room telling him how awful I was feeling. And then all of a sudden I had this like horrible like pain and I couldn't breathe. And he called the ambulance. And they took me by ambulance to the hospital. For my third time. And they said, you are so dehydrated. We're going to need to keep you for at least 2 days to get your fluid levels back up to par. You are very dehydrated. My urine was so thick at this point that I couldn't pass it just because it was so thick. And they were still bringing in the bladder scan machine and scanning me after every urination to make sure that I was emptying, and they were finding out that I was only emptying 50% of my bladder. And they still ended up pushing me out the door even though I wasn't ready to go on my third day. So during that third hospital stay, I had a nurse who came in my room and told me I was heading on a track, that I was heading down a track that very few gastric bypass patients will travel, that I was already showing signs of traveling this track of having constant medical problems for the first year of my gastric bypass. And which upset me. And when I came home from the hospital, I was shaking in my boots that how horrible I felt and how much I couldn't eat and how I couldn't drink and how I couldn't urinate and how I couldn't have bowel movements and how I couldn't walk. And this terrific pain that I was having in my left side. And during that stay, I had showed my surgeon that one incision up under that left rib had a bubble forming in it. And he felt it and he said, yeah, it's kind of feeling like an abscess. And I'm like, a what? Huh? More complications on top of more complications on top of more complications? And he was like, yeah. And he goes, but it's nothing we can do for it right now. And I was like, well, that's where all my pain is coming from. And he's like, no, I really don't think it's coming from there. I really think it's more of a muscle spasm kind of. But I was on muscle spasm medications already. And then they weren't even touching it. And they ended up kicking me out and sending me home. And about 4 or 5 days later, where was I? Right back in the ER for my 4th time. Because I couldn't breathe. And I was having horrible chest pain. And they ended up admitting me because I was dehydrated again. And this time, they didn't want to release me until I was getting in an adequate amount of fluid. And at this time, they finally advanced me to the soft food stage. But the menus were coming up with foods I couldn't have as a bariatric patient. So I had to pick this food from this menu and ask them if I could have that food from that menu. So I wanted cottage cheese from this menu, with the rotisserie turkey from this menu with just a little bit of the turkey gravy and nothing else. And what did they bring me? They brought me the full tray of everything. The stuffing, the mashed potatoes, the turkey on top of the mashed potatoes. I asked for the gravy to be on the side, and it was on the mashed potatoes. And I just felt like I asked for a cottage cheese. That was the only thing they brought that was correct. And so when the girl for the trays came in, I told her, I said they still sat, and they sent me a chocolate ice cream, you guys. A bariatric patient, they sent me chocolate ice cream. That is the one thing I have the biggest addiction to is ice cream. Okay? And they're sending me this on a tray with no foods that I can eat. And that ice cream looks really inviting right now. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this? Okay. So I laid into my doctor. I laid into my surgeon the next morning, and I showed him, took pictures of it all, and I said, this is not a meal I'm supposed to be eating. And I didn't even order this meal. I ordered just the turkey meat with the side of the gravy and a cottage cheese. That's all I ordered. That's all I wanted. And I even made sure that I told them that's all I want. And I asked for a hot decaf tea, and they told me I could not have it. I said, why can I not have a hot decaf tea? And they were like, I said, do you have a protein drink? No. We have Juven. Well, what's Juven? Well, it's kind of a protein drink. Okay, well, then I'll have that. And they brought that up to me. And I tasted that, and I loved it. I loved it. So for the rest of my hospital stay, I pretty much just stuck with the Juven for my protein source. And then on my last day, they told me about Ensure. My surgeon says, why don't you order an Ensure? It's like, oh. Well, it's not on the menu. Well, no, they don't really have it on the menu. Well, how am I supposed to know they have it if it ain't on the menu? But in any case, on with my story. So, after my 4th stay, I came home, and 4 days later, I was supposed to go see my surgeon's the nurse. And I could barely walk up there, and I was gasping for breath when I got up there. I asked for something that I could throw up in because I was going to throw up. And just from all the trying to get up there to their office was excruciating when you don't feel like you can walk. And you have to walk from your car, which you had to park 30 feet out in the parking lot. You know, from the front of the damn, or, good, I don't even know if it was probably more like 100 feet. It was like 3 rows back from the doors. And I had to do it with a walker, and I had to stop after every 3rd or 4th step to catch my breath and not be in pain, and to try and calm the pain. And then I would take another few more steps. It took me forever to get up there. I was almost late. And I took my daughter with me. I had my daughter meet me. And I took the one daughter that I knew was really strong. And I told her, whatever you do, don't let me back out. I want this thing taken care of today. And so she went. She stood up for me. She spoke up, and they ended up bringing the surgeon in. And he's like, Dixie, what's the matter? And I was like, this. And I showed it to him. And it was about this big and round. so it was like my fist, and it was poking up, like this is my skin. It was poking up like that high up out off my belly. And I showed it to him. He says, just by looking at it, he said, yeah, it does look bigger. And I said, in 4 days, it's gotten that big, Doc. And I said, it hurts, and that's where my pain is coming from. And he's like, oh, that can't be where your pain's coming from. I was like, yes, it is. And that nurse told me that, she goes, oh, he won't even touch it until it's really big and about ready to pop. And I said, oh, no, we're not going there. No, we're doing something with this today. And so she was shocked when he looked over and said, okay, let's try and drain it. And she was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, let's put her at ease. Let's just go ahead and try and drain it. And so he got out the little tool, and he went right in through the incision where the incision already was, and he just punctured through it. Well, he numbed me up good, and then he punctured through it, and the minute he did that, you guys, all my pain was gone. All my pain was instantly gone. The pain that was going from my belly down to my groin was gone. The pain that was going from my belly up to my rib cage was gone. The pain that was stretching around to my kidney area was gone. It was all gone the instant he did that. And when he said he was done, and I said, can I sit up? And he said, yeah. Like, I shot straight up. Boop. They had to help me to lay down. And I screamed and bawled and cried the whole way down. The instant he poked that thing down inside there, it released tension. It released everything. It was a relief. And when I sat up, I looked at him. I was like, did I do that? And he was like, he was laughing. He was like, do what? And I said, did I just sit up on my own and not cry? I said, oh, is that because you numb my stomach? And he said, probably. Yeah, it's probably just because it's numb. And so they packed it and everything, and I came home, and the next day he was showing my daughter, look, there's no pus, it's not draining anything, I don't think it was ready. The next day it was draining pus, you guys. It wicked up a lot of pus and blood and everything. It was nasty for the first 3 or 4 days. It was horrible, and I had to change it 2 times sooner than what he told me. He told me change it every 24 hours. I had to change it twice in 24 hours. It was, my gauze would just fill up with that pus and all that blood that quick. And I came home, and when all the numbing wore off, you guys, I still did not have pain. So from that day forward, about my fifth week after surgery, we finally found out. So for 5 weeks, I put up with the pain that could have been dealt with back on day 1. I think what happened there, you guys, is I went into surgery. That morning, I had developed a really bad rash from doing all my exercising. I was getting in nearly 10,000 steps a day. And I developed a huge rash under both breasts. And I told them about it the day of surgery. And I showed her, and she said, okay. She goes, I said, do we have to call? No. We could still do it. The one spot that he decided to cut into for my surgery was right in the middle of that rash. And I think what happened was when they pushed the tricars down through, I think they pushed the infection down through with it. So I think that's what caused my abscess, you guys. Um, but 4 days after that, 4 or 5 days after that, it was healing up really nice. I didn't have to pack it anymore. I couldn't get the packing to go in anymore. And um and I was pain free, you guys. No more pain. But I was still stuck with feeling nauseous, extremely nauseous. And she says to me, "Well, are you using your patches? Your uh, scleramine or whatever that the patches are that you put behind the ear for nauseousness?" I looked at her and I said, "What patches? You guys didn't write me no prescription for no patches." She goes, "What'd we send you home with for nausea?" I said, Zofran. And she goes, "No, we should have sent home patches too." And I said, "No, ma'am, no patches. You can look back through my records. There's no patches that were sent home with me, or even no script that was ever written for me for patches." "Oh, well, let me write that out for you right now." She wrote me out four, she wrote me out 90 days worth of patches, you guys. Costed me some money, but I'm telling you it was worth the money. It was like 29 bucks. But I'm telling you that's for 90 days. And so I have patches up the wazoo. So if I start to feel nauseous at any time, I just put a patch behind my ear and I feel better. And I wear it for 3 days. And when I take it off, I feel better for quite a few days before I start feeling nauseous again. So yes, I still have bouts of nauseousness. My daughter was wondering if my vertigo, because when I had if you guys were with me during my VSG, you guys all know that I had a very bad bout of vertigo that hit me right about the 4 month mark, 3 to 4 month mark from my surgery. And where I got extremely dizzy and was vomiting and nauseous, couldn't walk. And my daughter was wondering if maybe I was still suffering with some of that vertigo after having this surgery, but sooner than the 4 months. And I said, well, I was kind of wondering the same thing, if that's what's causing my nauseousness, my dizziness and my nauseousness. And, but her prescribing me the patches for behind my ear was a godsend, because my nauseousness finally subsided after about my third patch. And after that, if I had nauseousness, I was able to just do the Zofran and get through it. And I still have days where I get wobbly. My legs get a little bit wobbly and I still can't walk. But it took me a month and a half to get even the slightest bit to where I could walk with the walker. And I just put the walker up about 2 weeks ago, you guys. So, and I'm just starting my 3rd month. So the first 2 months was a real nightmare for me. And I'm finally able to start getting in fluids. Now, here's the deal. I know I am not supposed to use a straw, so do not say anything to me about it in the comments, okay? But I am using a straw, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when I sip, it sticks right here, and it won't go down. But if I use a straw, for some reason, when I use a straw, I'm getting in the fluid and it feels like it's going down. So the surgery affects everyone differently. Okay? So do not holler at me for drinking out of a straw, because this is the only way I'm able to get my water down. Okay? I do want to thank one of the gals that I've been really following. She is a duodenal switch patient, and I have been following her my whole 3 months, during my whole 3 months of my dieting. I started following her because I originally wanted to have the DS, but then they said because I was having a really bad GERD issues that I wasn't allowed to have it, because it would still had kept me with my sleeve, and it would have been half sleeve, half bypass, but it would have kept the GERD issues going, so they wouldn't allow it. They told me I had to go for the gastric bypass, and I was fine with that. Now I'm going to get a drink. I'm empty, you guys. But that's okay, because you see right back behind me here, like right over here, I got water. So, 1 second. I'm going to refill and talk at the same time, I think. But anyway, so this is my second jug for the day, and I'm going to show you how much this cup actually holds. And I only put very, very little bit of ice in my cup, guys. I only put 1/4 of a cup of ice. Oh, you can't see it in there. There you can. So, very little ice, because I cannot handle my water or any of my drinks to be very cold at all. Because like I said, if it's very cold, or if I drink by sipping, it sits right here and it feels like it won't go down. But for some reason, if I do it through the straw, I'm actually getting my fluids in. So I found that secret out. So look how much I've got gone now, guys. So that's 2 glasses that I've had out of this since dinner time. So I'm finally getting my water in. So this will be the last refill of my night. So I will finish this before I go to bed, but I will have gotten in 1.5 of these. So I'm really doing good on my water now. And it's going straight down. That's the only way I can do it, you guys. Okay. So I have my pain under control now. I'm finally able to get out and walk. So the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, I have been out walking at the park. The park has a half-mile track, and it has a sign, and it tells you where you start, and then by the time you come back to the sign, that's a half-mile. So I love this park because it's the only park in Omaha that has that marked out like that, and it's just a little neighborhood park, and I love it. I absolutely love walking this park, and so I'm up to 1.5 miles. I want to try and get to that 2-mile mark before it snows. So I'm really, now I'm going to get the hiccups again. So I want to get to that 2-mile mark before it starts to snow and I can't go out no more. But I have been picking up on my fidgeting. And when I say fidgeting, you guys, my nutritionist told me that even fidgeting counts as exercise. So I will put a mat out across my floor, an exercise mat, and I will walk the length of that mat dancing. Okay? And I will do that for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours straight. And then I will sit down and I will march in my chair here while I'm diamond painting, while I'm listening to music. I took out a subscription to Spotify just for this reason. That way I don't have commercials. I just have straight music. And I'll sit here and I will march to 70s, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s tunes and 80s tunes I find work the best. 90s tunes are not good for me. The beat's not right for me. But I love 70s, early 70s music. I find some of them are a little slower, and I love it because that's when I can slow down and go a little slower, catch my breath. Believe it or not, I'll actually get my body going while I'm walking in my chair. So I will get my arms moving, and I'll sit here and I'll sway from hip to hip. And I'll do this, and you ask my husband, I will do this for 4 hours straight. I'll do it clear up till bedtime. Yes, I will. So I have not been able to do it because of all my pain and because of all my weakness. But I got myself back, you guys. I'm finally feeling more myself. I'm still not quite up to full housework level yet. I'm getting better. I'm starting to do one load of laundry at a time. I struggle getting it up. By the time I get up the steps, I'm really wore out. But the basement steps, I probably got about 15 steps to go up. 13 steps to go up, something like that. And by the time I get to the top with a basket in my hand, I'm wore out. So I'm not up to doing my 5 and 6 baskets in a day routine yet, and I still have not been able to mow the yard like I did before surgery. And I'm telling you, I was to the point where I was crying to my husband. I was emotionally upset. I was having really bad buyer's remorse. I was like, what did they do to me? What did they do to me? That's all I could say all day long. And finally, it started not only being in my head, because I was having this head fight. Why did I do this to myself? Why wasn't the way I was, why wasn't that good enough? Maybe I should have stayed where I was at, because at least I could do my yard work. At least I could do 5 loads of laundry in a day, and plus the housework. And, why? Why wasn't that enough? I was beating myself up inside my head, you guys. And now I'm like, I would wake up in the morning, I don't feel good. That'd be the first words out of my mouth. I'd look over at my husband, I don't feel good. I feel nauseous. I feel sick. I'm shaking like a leaf. Why am I shaking so bad? Why? I'm not cold. Why am I shaking so bad? I mean, it's a big mind. I'm not going to say that word. But you know what I'm talking about, okay? It was this big mind thing. And it was like God and the devil playing it out inside my head. God saying, no, you did a good thing by doing this. You're on the right track. You need to get your health in order. You're doing good. You're fine. You'll get there. And then here's the devil over here. No, I gotcha. You're not going to feel good ever again. You're going to be in my control. You're not going to walk. You're not going to lose weight. It was that kind of a thing going on in my head, you guys. And then it finally started coming out verbally to my kids, to my husband. Why do I not feel good? To my friend, to both my friends on the phone. I don't feel good. I don't understand this. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. One of my friends, who's not a weight loss patient, said, Dixie, I don't think you should have ever done it. I think you should not mess with what God gave you. You should have tried to do it. And this is what we weight loss patients hear all the time, right? But at this time, with my mind playing this game, what she was saying almost made sense to me at the time. Because I was like, why did I not listen to my friend? She made a lot of sense. But then I had this other part of my brain saying, No, Dixie. Because you know this is what people say to you. Because you're a bariatric patient. Because you went this route. And that's what they always say, right? They always say, oh, you took the easy way out. I guarantee you right now, anybody watching this video right now, that this surgery was not the easy way out. I went through a lot of hell with this surgery. It was not easy by any means. So I don't want to ever hear one person ever say that to me, because it was not an easy way out. If you would have had to been hospitalized 4 times in 4 weeks, you tell me that was the easy way out. Having blood clots in your lungs and may have to still be on medication for a whole nother 3 months, so 6 months total, that is not easy. To not be able to follow the steps like everybody else, that was not easy. To not be able to have, I can't even have vegetables, you guys. I can't even have vegetables. I'm allowed to have vegetables, but I can't, because most of the vegetables I eat have vitamin K in them, and I cannot have vitamin K with blood thinners. So I'm stuck. I don't know what to eat, you guys. And I'm sick of pudding. I'm sick of Jell-O. I'm sick of cottage cheese. I'm sick of the same old things over and over. I tried to do Hormel chili. No. I tried to do Vienna sausages. That's just plain out gross. I tried to do deli lunch meats. I can't stand. I've never been a lunch meat eater. I can't stand them. What do I eat, you guys? I'm in this thing. What can I eat? What do I want to eat? I'm sick of eggs. I'm sick of scrambled eggs. I'm sick of eggs. My mind has been playing this. Dixie, half a piece of toast won't hurt you. Yes, it will. So here's that mind again, right? So I'm really struggling right now with this mind thing. The only thing I am proud of myself is I have not been giving in to snacks, you guys. Before surgery, I had to have a snack, some sort of a snack every day, whether it be a fruit snack or a popsicle. I can't stand sugar-free popsicles. I can't stand sugar-free add-ins in my water, although I'm finally trying to get used to them again. I can't stand plain water. What? I can't stand the protein shakes anymore. The Ensure anymore. I've got a ton of Ensure out there that my daughter bought for me, and I cannot stand it anymore. I've been giving it to the grandkids. They'll eat anything. They'll drink anything. They think it's a malt. Like, okay, if you think it's a malt, you can have it. I mean, I can't do them anymore, you guys. They are so gross to me right now. They don't taste good. So when they say your taste buds change, they change, guys. And right now, I have no taste for food. I eat the food. I taste it. The instant it's on my tongue, it tastes good. The instant I swallow it, I feel like I've never ate a bite of food. Because I didn't get to enjoy it. And at this point, my mind does not remember what the taste tasted like. Because I've got this funny, nasty taste on my tongue that takes over the instant I swallow. So it's this big mind thing. So I am not having an easy way out here. This is not an easy way out by any means, and I don't want to ever hear that word come to me, ever, in my life again. Don't ever cross me by telling me that I took an easy way out, because this is the hardest damn thing I ever done in my life. And scariest too, because it was life-threatening. It's still life-threatening. Until I find out those clots are gone, I'm still in danger, you guys. So complications can happen. I just want you to know that. I'm going to end the video here because I don't want it to be much longer. I'm not even sure what 49 minutes. I think that's plenty long enough. Probably too long. So I'm going to end it here, you guys. I'm feeling so much better. I'm starting to slowly add in my exercise. I was finally able to start adding in vitamins. I'm really behind schedule from everybody else. Don't sit there and say you're 3 months out. You should have been on vitamins at this point. Okay? Don't tell me this shit. Because for me, it's different because of my complications. Everything got thrown out the window because of my complications. And they told me I am a one-of-a-kind patient. That they don't see this, but maybe one person a year out of all the surgeries they do in a year. So I am in a very, very small group of people who have this kind of complications. The worst they've seen in a long time, they told me. So I have to add it back slow, guys. So don't tell me or cross me on any of it. I'm still trying to build it up. I'm just this last week really getting my water intake above and my 64 fluid ounces. I'm just now getting it up there, you guys. But the only way I can do it is through a straw. So do not holler at me about the straw. I don't care. And I'm not going to listen. Did I lose weight? Okay. I got down to 198. Shot back up to 207. Sat at 207 for 3 weeks. Then started coming down 1 pound every few days. Stopped at 202. So I'm right now, for the last 2 weeks or more, I've been sitting at 202 or 202.5. But you know what? I don't care. I am not weighing myself every day like I did with my VSG. I'm only weighing once a week. And right now I don't even care what the scale says because this you should see my thighs. My thighs are tiny compared to before surgery, you guys. I've lost a lot of my bubble butt. I lost the hump on the back of my neck. I can actually feel my neck spine. I can feel my spine. I can feel my shoulder bones. I can feel my collar. Look, I have collarbone. Look, I have collarbones. They're there, guys. Camera's just at a bad angle, but they're there, you guys. I love feeling them. And NSV hurts to sit on my tailbone. So that's another good sign. Hurts to take a bath because sitting on the tailbone hurts. Don't have the padding I did on my butt. So, guys, I may have not be losing it in inches or in pounds. I am losing it in inches for sure. So I'm not going to cry about it because I know it's still working for me, and will work better if I would get my portions a little bit smaller maybe, but more often throughout the day. That's coming, but it's coming slowly. So right now I'm just doing two small meals, about a quarter of a cup, if that. I don't always eat everything I put on my plate. I may eat half, I may eat 3/4, or I might eat it all. It just depends on what it is. The other night I had a stir fry with zucchini and bell peppers and onion and real thin strip of beef steak cut very thin, and made myself a small stir fry with the low sodium, low carb uh, sauce on it was awesome. Oh, it was to die for. Got I gotta have more of those. The only thing is it did have just a little bit of asparagus, which does have vitamin K, but it was just a few. I think maybe one sprig of asparagus that was in there, and it was very small in diameter, so I don't think it'll hurt anything. So I just went ahead and left them in and ate them. It was so good. Oh, so feeling better. I'm getting on the right track. I'm starting to get my exercise in. I'm trying to up my food intake. I'm getting my water in. So things are looking better. I'm finally starting to urinate. I am not on any kind of stool softeners now. I'm able to go twice a day. Not struggling to go at all. This was my lunch today. I had a little bit of chili. I made a big pot of chicken chili, what I call chicken chili, and it has ground chicken instead of ground beef, and big ass can of chili beans, and I put lots of bell pepper, tons of bell pepper and onion in there. It was so good. But I measured out a fourth of a cup, which brought it up to about this, whoops, where am I? Up to this wavy line here is about where it brought it up to. So I had about this much, but you can see the line here. I got it so hot that it like, and then I put a small little dollop of cheese, cheddar cheese on top. So that's what you're mostly seeing here was the cheddar cheese. So, but that was my lunch. And then for supper, I had 2 spears of baked chicken with salt-free seasoning, garlic and herb seasoning, and Parmesan and herb seasoning on it. And then I had nothing else. The chicken filled me up just on its own, and then I'll probably have some kind of a protein before bed. It's now 12:49 in the a.m. here on a Saturday it is now Halloween day, so it is now October 31st. So happy Halloween, y'all. I'll get this posted up today. I probably won't post it tonight. I'll post it first thing in the morning when I get up. But hopefully it'll be there for you guys. Maybe I will try and get it to post, but I probably just won't stay up and make sure that it does post. We'll see. I love you all so much. I'm feeling so much better. Hey, I could use some ideas for something to have with meat. Okay? Something to have with meat kind of as a side other than cottage cheese and jello and pudding. Okay? I'm tired of those things. I need vegetable options that don't have vitamin K. If you guys are willing to help me out with any kind of ideas, post them down below because I really need help right now on that. I want something other than cottage cheese and I don't know what to have. And my husband was like, iceberg lettuce. I can't have green leaf lettuce. I can't have spinach. Those are what I've been eating for salads before surgery. Cannot have because they have vitamin K. So what do I do, guys? I need ideas. Please help me out with some ideas down below. I don't know what to do. Yeah, so. Oh. Guys, I finished my Mickey poster. This is a diamond painting. I don't know if I can get you guys up very close, but as you can see, it sparkles. See the diamonds? See my Mickey sparkle? That is my diamond that was from Treasure Studio Arts. I designed the canvas. And then I designed my own canvas. And then I sent it to Rachel Treasure from Treasure Studio Arts. She's the owner of Treasure Studio Arts. And she looked at it and said that it wasn't bad, other than the background was overly busy. So she said I can make the background lot less busy, but still fun. And she goes, and I could probably crop the pictures a little better for you. And I said, okay. So resend all the pictures to me. I sent her probably 15, 20 pictures. These are the ones that she picked out. These are pretty close to the ones that I had on the original poster. So these are the ones that she picked out. Just so that you can kind of get adjust. So there's the full poster. I just finished it a week ago. I'm finally able to sit up in my chair and diamond paint. I'm working on an elephant one that I started for my daughter for Christmas, so I'm finishing that up. I finished up one that I did for my other daughter just before I went in for surgery, and so I've got to seal both of these. And so the other one might be missing a few drills here and there, and I'll have to go back through and replace any drills that might have fallen out during storage, and then make sure the rows are good and straight, and then seal them with Mod Podge. Very thinned out Mod Podge. And then I'm going to put it on a... I'm going to build my own, because these are, it's a 30 by 30 design area. But the actual canvas is like a 35 by 35. But I don't need it to be the whole canvas. I just need it to be the diamond area itself, pretty much. So, and I'm going to fold these edges over the edge of the frame. And then I'm going to put a piece of clear plexiglass over the top, and I'm going to screw the plexiglass down to the frame. So I'm going to try and find me some really good looking screws that aren't like normal screws. A little bit fancier maybe, somehow. Or either that, or maybe I'll use those mirror clips, you know, those clips for mirrors. I might use something similar to that idea, maybe. But, yeah, so I'm going to get these done for Christmas and give them off to my girls for Christmas. So, I've been working extremely hard on this one, because this one here, I didn't think I would get it done in time for Christmas, but I've only got, so let me turn this light off so you can see, but see, you can kind of see the elephant here. So there's the elephant's face, part of it, half of it, but there's a baby elephant here. And right now I'm just working on the this area here is all I've got left, this little square. Now this is a diamond dots canvas, and these are diamond dots that I bought. I must have spent, I probably have about $250 racked up in diamond dots, diamonds. Between my other daughter's canvas and this canvas. And I am now going to start a new one. And I know this is not related to but this, I'm going to start this one, which is a picture of me and my husband back when the girls were babies. Tabitha was probably 4 there. Bonnie was probably 2. And Alicia was 1 year old there. She was just turning 1. And I don't know if you can tell, but all the kids were crying. So in the original photo, this photo got damaged. And so I went in. Bonnie's face was completely messed up. I managed to get the nose looking halfway decent. And her lips were completely gone. And I managed to get... Her upper lip was okay. And this part of her bottom lip was okay. But I added in all of this around here. And I fixed the cheek here. The cheek was like real funky and half missing. And I managed to get the cheeks back in here, the chin. And you're going to say, well, it's dark shading. Well, that's the original shading they had. I just blended in with it. Oh my God, something just happened. Hold on, guys. Something just happened to my husband. Hang on. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna end it here. Guys, something just happened. I gotta go. I love you guys. Bye.